This is Nightline, and I'm Liyana Hassanel. The top stories. 9 Malaysian FFC activists detained by Israel return home safely. Also, 400 trucks carrying food and medical supplies begin entering Gaza Strip. Good morning. The 9 Malaysian activists who joined the Freedom Flotilla Coalition and 1,000 Madleens to Gaza mission have returned home safely. The group arrived at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, at around 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, aboard a flight from Turkey.
Dan kita dengarkan buat masa ini juga sorakan daripada rakyat Malaysia yang saya kira meraihkan kepulangan wira dan wirawati negara.
The group departed Istanbul aboard Turkish Airlines flight TK60 at 1:40 a.m. on Sunday and arrived at KLIA at 4:01 p.m. They were welcomed by Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail and Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq, aside from family members and supporters. The humanitarian mission involved about 150 activists from 25 countries aboard 9 vessels, including Conscience and Sa'd, which were intercepted by Zionist forces less than 120 nautical miles from Gaza last Wednesday, before being towed to Ashdod port. The activists were later transferred to Ketziot prison in Israel. 8 Malaysians were on board the Conscience, while another was on board the Sa'd. The Malaysian 8 volunteers have shared chilling accounts of their detention by the Israeli forces. Among them, My Care Board of Trustees member Norsham Abu Bakar, who described the physical assault inflicted upon her while she was transferred from the seized 8 ship to a holding area.
Masa mula-mula kami dibawa turun daripada kapal Conscience, kami diatur di depan tu sebelum masuk ke immigration. Pada masa tu saya antara yang di barisan hadapan dan 2 tentera Israel wanita yang mengangkat saya, menolak tangan saya ke belakang sambil menekan tengkuk ke bawah. Memang rasa sangat-sangat sakit.
Norsham expressed her gratitude to the Malaysian and Turkish governments for ensuring their safe release and vowed to continue her humanitarian mission for Gaza. Meanwhile, Dr. Fauziah Muhammad Hassan, who had been detained by Israeli forces once before during a similar mission in 2016, said the treatment received this time was far worse, while her husband, the head of the Malaysian delegation, described the inhumane conditions during detention.
Tetapi kali ini memang kasar dan memang tidak ada mestilah. Tetapi apa yang kami lalui itu sedikit kalau kita comparekan dengan orang Gaza. Jadi jangan fokus atas apa yang kita dapat, tetapi fokus tentang apa yang berlaku di Gaza supaya fokus kita tak larilah.
Ada satu masa tu diseret untuk melutut selama sejam atas tembok. Dan yang lain-lain tu hanya proses-proses dia orang cuba menghina kita, contohnya meletak dalam kandang yang busuk dan beramai-ramai berpuluh-puluh dalam satu kandang kecil.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has gifted mobile phones to all 9 Malaysian volunteers. The special gesture was executed through the Prime Minister's political secretary, Datuk Azman Abidin, who was present to welcome the return of the activists at KLIA. The members of the humanitarian mission revealed earlier how their personal belongings had been confiscated and later discarded by Israeli forces, while some of them had been physically assaulted and punched. They also recounted how the Malaysian flag they brought had been thrown into a trash bin in front of them.
Seperti yang dijanjikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, iaitu kepada sukarelawan kita yang telah dirampas handphone mereka dan juga telah yang dibuang ke laut. Yang Amat Berhormat telah tunaikan janji beliau pada hari ini. Beliau menyerahkan pada 9 orang tersebut handphone, mengganti semula handphone mereka yang telah dirampas.
Now, Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Hassan has advised non-governmental organizations intending to channel humanitarian aid to Gaza to do so through Wisma Putra. He said this would ensure that all assistance is properly coordinated and delivered safely and efficiently.
Jadi sesiapa yang berhasrat mempunyai keprihatinan baik individu maupun NGO, jika mereka mahu menghantar bantuan, elok kita buat suatu gabungan daripada kita bersepah-sepah secara individu susah dan buat melalui pengetahuan Kementerian Luar.
In a related matter, U.S. President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi will chair an international summit on Monday to discuss Trump's proposal to end Israel's war on Gaza. The summit in Sharm el-Sheikh will focus on ending hostilities in the Gaza Strip, advancing regional peace efforts, and ushering in a new phase of security and stability across the Middle East. The meeting will include leaders from more than 20 countries, among them UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Italy's Giorgia Meloni and Spain's Pedro Sanchez. The leaders are expected to sign a US-brokered peace agreement aimed at ending the conflict in Gaza. It remains unclear if Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu will attend, while Hamas has said it will not participate. The first phase of the plan is set to begin with the release of hostages and Palestinian prisoners by Monday. In the meantime, 8 trucks have begun entering the Gaza Strip through the Karem Abu Salam and Al-Awja border crossings for inspection before delivering humanitarian supplies. Hamas official Osama Hamdan said that 5 crossings are expected to open for aid entry under the US-led ceasefire agreement, adding that the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt will reopen to individuals in both directions next Wednesday. On Sunday morning, around 400 trucks carrying various forms of humanitarian aid moved from the Rafah crossing to the Karem Abu Salam and Al-Awja crossings in preparation for entry into Gaza. Within the first hour, 90 trucks crossed from the Egyptian side of Rafah toward these crossings for inspection and clearance. Decades of ongoing genocide and conflict have reduced Palestine to ruins, a land scarred by devastation, displacement, and an unyielding struggle for survival. As death tolls climb, Palestinians are left with a healthcare system on its knees, crippled, overwhelmed, and running out of hope. Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar has the story.
The recently announced 20-point Gaza peace plan proposed by US President Donald Trump appears to have brought a temporary halt to the fighting. With both Palestine and Israel accepting the proposal, hope is growing that this ceasefire could mark the first step towards a sustainable and lasting peace in the region. But for Palestinians who have long endured unimaginable acts of violence, decades of pain and destruction have left deep scars. Speaking to Nightline, International President of Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF, Dr. Javed Abdelmonem, said that these relentless acts have crippled Gaza's healthcare system, leaving no fully functioning hospitals and countless lives hanging in the balance.
Bombs need to stop, right? That is the primary problem that we face there. Alongside, in this genocidal campaign, the systematic destruction of the healthcare system. There are no fully functioning hospitals left in Gaza. There are only 14 remaining partially functioning hospitals. 1,722 healthcare workers have been killed, including 15 of my colleagues.
He explained that healthcare workers on the ground are struggling to provide proper treatment to the injured, as Israel's blockade has prevented most aid and supplies from reaching Gaza.
So when you're there, you have hospitals that are overwhelmed. We have beds down the corridors, patients on beds without mattresses. You're using second and third and fourth line drugs because the first line drug isn't available because of the blockade.
Dr. Javid said many doctors have been reduced to trading supplies among themselves, a desperate attempt to keep their patients alive amid shortages.
I have an excess of Y drug. Can I swap that for some dressings with you? Because I'm running out of dressings. You see? So in that sense, it required a lot of additional input and effort, simply just to assure yourselves of at least 1, 2 or 3 third-line equipment or materials.
He also revealed the life-threatening conditions that medical personnel endure on a daily basis, even within so-called safe zones.
When as seemingly as collateral damage, our staff members were killed and injured with a drone strike at the bus stop where our staff members were waiting for our MSF bus to go to work. So it goes to show that it's even with those systems, it's not safe. And this was within the designated safe area.
Following the ceasefire announcement, MSF has called for the truce to be sustained to allow desperately needed care to reach Palestinians. The organization also expressed hope that the ceasefire will pave the way for reconstruction efforts, including the restoration of Gaza's collapsed healthcare system. Gaza's collapsing healthcare system shows that war does more than just wound bodies. It destroys the very system that is built to heal it. It's a painful reminder of how fragile the medical infrastructure is, especially when humanity gets lost in the crossfire. Muhammad Nadir Asfar, TV3.
The Education Ministry is providing emotional support to a Form 3 student who was allegedly sexually assaulted at a school in Alor Gajah, Melaka. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said the victim is currently being treated at a hospital and receiving psychological support from medical staff. The minister met with senior officials from the Melaka State Education Department and the police on Sunday to discuss measures to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Jadi semuanya telah pun diambil tindakan oleh bahagian masing-masing khususnya untuk perlindungan kanak-kanak ini.
She said the ministry will also extend emotional support to the teachers and other students at the school. Fadlina added that the 4 Form 5 students detained in connection with the case will not be barred from sitting for their SPM examinations, which will begin on November 3rd. On Saturday, Melaka Police Chief Datuk Zulkhairi Mukhtar confirmed that the suspects had been remanded for 6 days, from October 10th to the 16th. The incident allegedly took place inside a classroom around 2:50 p.m. on October 2nd and was reportedly recorded on a mobile phone by 2 of the suspects. PTPTN loans for students from poor and hardcore poor families identified through the e-Kasi database and pursuing studies at public higher education institutions will be converted into scholarships. PTPTN Chairman Datuk Sri Norliza Abdul Rahim said the initiative reflects the government's commitment to ensuring more inclusive access to higher education. In a statement, Norliza said the move is aimed at easing students' financial burden and enabling them to focus fully on their studies. As a further incentive, students who graduate with first-class honours degrees from public universities will be exempted from repaying their PTPTN loans, a benefit extended to borrowers from the B40 and M40 income groups. Norliza added that PTPTN will soon implement targeted travel restrictions for borrowers with outstanding arrears to ensure the sustainability of future loan funds. Further details on these initiatives will also be announced by PTPTN in the near future. University Technology Mara, or UITM, has been urged to position itself as a global TVET entrepreneurship university, combining technical training with entrepreneurship education. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said with its large student population and wide range of courses, UITM has the potential to produce more techno-entrepreneurs. Speaking at the Putra 35 outreach program at UITM Puncak Alam, Zahid stressed that TVET should not be seen merely as a path to employment, but as a platform for creating jobs.
Saya memberikan penekanan tentang kita bukan pencari pekerjaan, tetapi kita pencipta pekerjaan. Artinya para usahawan boleh mencipta pekerjaan untuk mengambil mereka yang berada di dalam bidang yang sama untuk kerja.
He added that TVET graduates now enjoy an employability rate exceeding 95%, with starting salaries ranging between 2,500 and 4,000 ringgit. UiTM should therefore aspire to become a world-class entrepreneurship training university to help reshape the nation's economic landscape and strengthen the Bumiputra agenda both nationally and internationally. He also reminded students to serve as the driving force of Bumiputra transformation, not merely policy recipients, but catalysts for a brighter future for the next generation. Commenting on the Sabah state election, Zahid, who is also Barisan Nasional chairman, said the coalition will field candidates from UMNO, MCA and Parti Bersatu Rakyat Sabah, or PBRS, in the upcoming polls. He said BN will feature more candidates from professional backgrounds, with a mix of new faces alongside several incumbents.
MCA kita berikan calon untuk bertanding. MIC mungkin tidak sebab jumlah pengundi India terlalu kecil, ya, sangat tidak signifikan di sana. Tetapi PBRS kita beri sebagai parti komponen di dalam BN.
He said the official announcement on seat allocations and the list of candidates will only be made on nomination day. He also gave his assurance that there will be no overlapping of seats with Pakatan Harapan. On Monday, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Noor announced the dissolution of the State Legislative Assembly, paving the way for the state's 17th election. The Election Commission is expected to meet this Thursday to decide on the polling date for all 73 state seats. In the meantime, Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani said BN is still finalizing its list of candidates and constituencies to be contested in the upcoming Sabah state election. The UMNO Vice President said discussions on the matter with the Sabah BN leadership are ongoing. Johari stressed that UMNO fully respects Sabah's political autonomy and believes that the state's voters should determine their own leadership.
Sebab itu dalam sepanjang UMNO terlibat dalam politik di Sabah, kita tidak pernah nak menukar mana-mana pemimpin di dalam Sabah itu, kerana semua itu mereka datang daripada Sabah. Yang bertanding di DUN, yang bertanding di Parlimen pun semua daripada rakyat jati Sabah.
He also dismissed claims that UMNO is attempting to interfere in Sabah's political affairs, emphasizing instead that the party's role is to help formulate strategies for political stability, drawing from its 6 decades of experience in federal governance. 15-year-old among 400 motorcyclists detained in illegal racing op. More from the local front after this breather.
Dan apabila bayi ini ditemui, dia ada stokin dalam mulut. Seumpama dia suffocated melalui stokin ke dalam mulut.
Bahawa di situlah dia tanam bayi bersama-sama dengan pakaian yang dibaluti oleh bayi di dalam tanah.
Pada satu hari beliau mendapat panggilan dari tertuduh kedua perempuan dan beliau ke asrama atau tempat tinggal tertuduh kedua tersebut.
Elitia belajar hanya mengambil masa 6 bulan. Biasanya dia ambil masa beberapa tahun.
Buta memang kita tahu dia buta. Telinga kanan dia kurang pendengaran tau.
Saya main erhu ini, saya main dari hati. Walaupun tak nampak dunia, tapi dunia dengan saya.
Kok nak tahu tinggi gunung, tanya pada
Keindahan terombak memukau jiwa. Inilah terombak alun nasihat sepanjang zaman.
Nightline continues. 34 Mara Junior Science Colleges, MRSMs, have been instructed to conduct home-based teaching and learning after reporting more than 50 influenza cases each. Mara Chairman Dato' Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki said so far at least 2,724 students have been infected with the virus, adding that the welfare and safety of all students and staff remain Mara's top priority. The measures taken include immediate treatment for students with symptoms at nearby clinics or hospitals, isolating those infected, and enforcing mask wearing on campus. Students have also been supplied with adequate drinking water, while all outdoor activities have been temporarily suspended. At the same time, all MRSMs have been instructed to stay in close contact with district health officers and comply with all health advisories issued. In Selangor, 400 motorcyclists, including a 15-year-old student, were detained during an illegal racing operation near the Bukit Raja Toll Plaza in Klang on Sunday. Bukit Aman's Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Deputy Director Muhammad Rozi Jidin said the exercise followed public complaints of illegal street racing and dangerous riding stunts in the area. The joint operation, which ran from 10:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m., involved 100 officers from the Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department and the Selangor contingent, along with 10 personnel from the National Anti-Drug Agency. Almost all detained riders were found riding recklessly and endangering other road users. Muhammad Razi expressed hope that such enforcement efforts would raise awareness among motorcyclists and deter them from engaging in illegal racing, which poses a serious risk to their lives. He also urged parents to monitor their children's activities, especially those still in school, to prevent them from getting involved in such dangerous behavior. A Chinese-run online gambling syndicate used a luxury residence in the city centre as its operations base, targeting foreign markets through platforms such as Telegram and WhatsApp. Immigration Director General Zakaria Shaban said the raid, which took place on Thursday at 3:50 p.m. along Jalan P. Ramlee, was led by officers from the department's Intelligence and Special Operations Division based in Putrajaya. Acting on public tip-offs and 2 weeks of surveillance, enforcement officers stormed the premises and detained 11 individuals, 10 men and 1 woman, all Chinese nationals aged between 20 and 40. Zakaria said the syndicate had converted upscale residential units into gambling hubs aimed at foreign markets. Further checks found that 2 individuals had abused their social visit passes, 5 had overstayed their permitted duration, and the 4 others held no valid travel documents. Authorities also seized 7 Chinese passports, 11 laptops, 7 mobile phones, 3 desktop computers, and 3,900 ringgit in cash. The suspects have been taken to the Immigration Department headquarters in Putrajaya for further investigation. The case is being investigated under the Immigration Act. 58 Pakistani soldiers killed in clashes with Afghan Taliban troops. The details when Nightline returns.
Kadang ia merah mereka bahagia. Kadang ia hitam kala berduka. Tapi langit selalu menerima senja apa adanya.
Syukur Yusuf pulang. Dia nak jumpa anak kesayangannya sebelum dia pergi.
Kenapa Bapa hantar Yusuf pergi? Apa salah Yusuf?
हम किसी की भी जान ले सकते हैं।
जान क्यों ना लेनी पड़े?
She's shot.
Go!
Alibaba, Dastan I Kabul. Setiap Isnin hingga Kamis 4 petang. Di slot Sonia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Little Pakistan, kecoh digempur pihak berkuasa.
You should bring your passport anywhere you go.
Yes, that I made mistake.
Kahwin warga tempatan, helah gajikan parti secara haram.
Bukan, itu saya punya abang, dia kahwin sini.
Abang you kahwin dengan orang Malaysia?
Ya, ya.
Buka kedai?
Buka kedai, itu kakak punya lah. Saya kerja saja.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
The foreign front. Afghanistan on Sunday said it had killed 58 Pakistani soldiers and wounded 30 others in overnight border operations as clashes between their militaries intensified following an airstrike on Kabul earlier this week. A spokesman for the Taliban government said 9 Taliban soldiers were also killed in the operations, while nearly a dozen others were injured. It claimed Pakistan had violated Afghan airspace and bombed a market inside its border on Thursday. Pakistan's Interior Minister, meanwhile, described the Afghan attacks as unprovoked and said civilians had come under fire, warning that the country's forces would retaliate forcefully. Following the clashes, the two main crossings between Pakistan and Afghanistan, Torkham in the north and Chaman in the south, have been closed, leaving hundreds of trucks carrying goods stranded on both sides. In other news, Qantas Airways has confirmed that customer data stolen during a major cyber attack in July has now been published online by cyber criminals, making it one of several companies worldwide affected by the breach. In a statement on Sunday, the Australian airline said the information was obtained via a third-party platform during the attack and involved the personal details of millions of customers. The airline added that it is working with specialist cybersecurity experts to determine the full extent of the released data and continues to enforce a court injunction in preventing the use or distribution of the stolen information. Qantas initially disclosed in July that more than 1 million customers had sensitive data such as phone numbers, dates of birth and home addresses accessed in what became one of Australia's most significant data breaches in recent years. An additional 4 million customers had their names and email addresses compromised. The hackers have also obtained stolen data from dozens of other companies, including Disney, Google and IKEA. American actress Diane Keaton, known for her Oscar-winning performance in 1977's Annie Hall and her role in the Godfather films, has died at the age of 79. A family spokesman said on Saturday that Keaton died in California and that her loved ones have asked for privacy. The cause of death was not immediately available. Keaton shot to fame in the 1970s with her role as Kay Adams, the girlfriend and eventual wife of Al Pacino's Michael Corleone in the Godfather trilogy, as well as her collaborations with director Woody Allen. On to sports badminton, the 2025 Arctic Open. National shuttlers Pearly Tan and Tina created history by delivering a masterclass performance to claim the women's doubles title, their second of the season in Vantaa, Finland on Sunday. The world number 2 pair were in blistering form, thrashing Japan's world number 6 duo Rin Iwanaga and Ki Nakanishi 21-7, 21-9 in just 32 minutes in the final, becoming the first Malaysian women's pair to win the women's doubles title at the Super 500 tournament. This marks the first time Pearly and Tina have won 2 World Tour titles in the same year, having also captured the Thailand Open in May. With the victory, Pearly and Tina took home $37,525 in prize money. Meanwhile, national top men's doubles pair Aaron Chia and So Woo-yik missed out on landing the title as they were stunned by England's Ban Lane and Sean Vendy in the final. The world number 2 pair fought hard in a closely contested match before going down 18-21, 27-25, 17-21 in 76 minutes. It was Aaron and Woo-yik's 4th defeat to world number 15 duo in 10 meetings. As winners, Lane and Vendy walked away with prize money worth $37,525, while Aaron and Woo-yik took home $18,050. Time around. Before we leave, here's a look at the thousands of gaming fans gathered at France's Nice Exhibition Center for EVO, Europe's only major event dedicated to the world's most iconic fighting video games. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.